Black and boarding, what African American travelers should know before booking a Carnival cruise. For many African American families, a cruise isn't just a vacation, it's a declaration. A floating hotel with endless buffets, Caribbean ports, and nightly entertainment feels like the reward for generations of struggle. After all, our ancestors weren't even allowed to share the same train cars, let alone book luxury cabins at sea. But beneath the surface of Carnival Cruise Line's fun and family-friendly branding lies a growing set of concerns about safety, sanitation, policy enforcement, and customer treatment that all travelers should know. And for Black passengers specifically, these stories hit differently. Because even when the headlines don't involve us, the consequences of indifference, surveillance, and policy rigidity often land harder on our shoulders. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about awareness. What happened to Tiffany Banks should worry everyone. In 2024, Tiffany Banks, a white mother and travel advisor from Kentucky, went viral after Carnival Cruise canceled her $15,000 family vacation. According to People magazine, Banks had shared her booking confirmation number online in a celebratory post. That small oversight allowed a stranger to access her reservation and cancel it. When she reached out to Carnival immediately, they refused to reinstate the cruise or issue a refund, citing privacy rules and internal policy. The story exploded across social media, with many expressing outrage at how Carnival handled the situation. Banks had documentation, a long-standing booking history, and public support. Still, the company offered no flexibility. Now imagine that same story, but swap the white mother for a black father from Detroit or a grandmother from Atlanta trying to treat her family to their first cruise. Would they be heard as quickly? Would their case be met with sympathy or suspicion? In a system that often views Black consumers as opportunists or threats, this kind of stonewalling policy becomes dangerous, not just inconvenient. Brawls at sea, and the racial optics that follow. Carnival's reputation took another blow in 2022 when a 60-person brawl broke out aboard a ship heading back to New York. According to NBC News, the fight reportedly began over a romantic dispute and spiraled out of control, eventually requiring intervention from security and the Coast Guard. In 2023, similar brawls surfaced aboard the Carnival Sunrise and other ships. Videos of guests throwing punches in dining halls and near pool decks made their way across TikTok and Instagram, painting a chaotic picture. Now, it's important to note, the individuals involved in these fights were of varied racial backgrounds. But the racial subtext is still there. Cruise ships are tight, monitored environments. And when public disturbances go viral, so do the faces involved. This creates a new kind of surveillance where Black passengers often feel hyper-visible, even when they're not involved. Many Black travelers have shared stories of being watched closely by staff, reprimanded more harshly, or assumed to be part of the problem during minor incidents. The pattern isn't always overtly racist, it's subtle. It's the kind of bias that shows up in tone, response time, and the difference between being given a warning or being escorted off the ship entirely. The poop cruise and the policy machine. Carnival has long struggled with reputation management. In 2013, the Carnival Triumph suffered a major engine failure that left passengers stranded in the Gulf of Mexico for 5 days. According to CNN's reporting at the time, the ship had no working plumbing, no air conditioning, and dwindling food supplies. Guests were forced to sleep in hallways and use makeshift toilets. The incident was so infamous it became known as the Poop Cruise. This may seem like old news, but it laid bare how fragile the Carnival ecosystem can be. When things go wrong, customer care becomes transactional. Refunds are slow, communication is vague, And when you layer that experience onto the reality of being black in a space that already feels policed, the sense of vulnerability increases. Cruises are supposed to be carefree, but too often, black passengers report feeling like they must be extra quiet, extra polite, and extra invisible just to avoid becoming the next problem. No formal claims of racism, but plenty of quiet stories. It's worth noting that there are no current class action lawsuits against Carnival Cruise Line citing racial discrimination. No official legal claims have been filed, suggesting that black passengers are systematically targeted or mistreated. But absence of litigation doesn't equal absence of truth. What we do have are countless personal accounts, often shared on TikTok, Reddit, and travel blogs, where black passengers speak of being followed, dismissed, or treated coldly compared to their white counterparts. Whether it's an older black woman told her swimsuit was inappropriate, while white women wore far skimpier options, or a black man accused of loitering by the buffet while waiting for his wife, these stories accumulate, and they're consistent. Carnival isn't alone in this. Cruise culture, like many public leisure spaces, often reflects the racial dynamics of the broader society. For African Americans, that means even luxury comes with a warning label: behave, blend in, and don't give them a reason. Let's get one thing straight. It is not a boycott, but a heads up. Let's be clear. Thousands of black families take Carnival cruises every year and have the time of their lives. The ports are beautiful, the food is plentiful, and the value is unmatched. This isn't a call to boycott. It's a call to be informed. Know the policies. Document everything. Be cautious about what you share online. And understand that when things go wrong, corporate empathy isn't always part of the package, especially if you're black. Editorial disclaimer. This video is intended for commentary and public discussion under fair use. All events and sources referenced are publicly available and verified at the time of writing. Scope News does not assert that Carnival Cruise Line or any of its employees engaged in unlawful racial discrimination. All individuals and companies are presumed innocent of any wrongdoing unless proven otherwise in a court of law.